guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you've picked a doozy of a video to start watching. If you're not new here, you know that this isn't normally what I post. I normally post like random Sims videos or stupid, you know, it never has anything to do with real life. But this is a video that's been requested of me a few times from a few different people, and I figured I might as well go ahead and do it. Basically, from the title of the video, you would know that this video is going to be a story about my life, coming out as a gay man in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, growing up gay in a small town. Let's just get into it. So I want to preface this by saying, my parents are amazing, okay? You're going to hear some things that probably make you question them, and believe me, I have questioned them, but they ultimately were amazing, and I couldn't have asked for better parents, to be quite honest. I hope you see this, Mom. I hope you see this, Dad. To get this started, I want to say that this began for me like in grade school. Earliest memories of being bullied were in grade 2. 6 years old. Being bullied about my sexuality. First of all, bitch. At that age, I didn't even know what it meant. And I was just like, sure. And it just kind of progressively got worse as I got older. So I'm from a small town in a small province in Canada. You know, the whole province is like small towns, minus the epicenter, which is Halifax. I'm like fidgeting. Oh my God. So I grew up small town. But that being said, despite the bullying and despite the constant harassment I endured on a daily basis, I was unapologetically myself and didn't give a shit. Like, I did what I wanted, I wore what I wanted, I had my hair the way that I wanted it. Like, my hair was every color of the goddamn rainbow. It was long at one point, I think in grade 4, this thing called the undercut came in, and basically it was like long hair and shaved underneath. So you had long hair, but it was shaved underneath. So guys were getting this haircut so they could have a ponytail, but still have the shaved sides, you know? So it wasn't as gay. Purple hair, I had green hair. I had, when the Spice Girls became big, I dyed my hair red in the back and white in the front, and that was at the same time I had the undercut. So I had long Jerry Halliwell hair. Fuck you for being a conservative peach. I was just very flamboyant. I lived a pretty unencumbered life in that I did what I wanted when I wanted. I didn't really let how people were perceiving me affect how I felt about myself. It wasn't having an effect on my self-confidence or my self-esteem in any way that I remember. But I do remember that my anxiety started back then. Can you hear me? Ooh. I just trying to lose it. No other way to put it. Like, for me growing up, there was no hiding it. A lot of people have the luxury of coming out on their own and coming to terms with their sexuality on their own, but I wasn't one of those people, and a lot of people I know aren't. Like, you can just tell by my voice and my mannerisms. Like, when I was a kid, like, and I mean, like, 2 and 3 years old, my dad called me his little fruit. He believes that is not true, but other people in my family have told me that it is true. He just doesn't remember. I think he's losing his mind a little bit, but we won't go there. So, I mean, my dad called me his little fruit growing up. Ew, like my parents knew. I used to put like shirts on my head and pretend it was long hair. I did the whole like wearing mom's bras and putting like the fake boobies in there, and like I was a flamboyant kid. So my parents were super like young when they had me. My mom was 24 and my dad was 26, and in the scheme of things, I mean, that's not that young, but it is at the same time. So I've consistently said throughout my life that my parents were always meant to be together, but that they met too young, and they just weren't ready to settle down. And, like, specific to the person. So, I mean, they split up when I was, I'm actually not sure how old I was. But then they got back together when I was like 8, I think. They got back together. We had a house fire, and my family was always close, and I tell people this all the time, and they're like, whoa. Like, as a child at Christmas time, whether dad had a girlfriend or mom had a boyfriend, the boyfriends and girlfriends were set aside for the holidays, and mom would invite dad down, and He literally lived 2 houses up the street. We would all have Christmas as a family. Now, Mom's a nurse, so a lot of times she worked Christmas Day. So, like, Dad's Day was spent, like, cooking a Christmas meal. Looking back on it, like, I had a really unique experience. Most kids of divorce don't ever, they don't have the opportunity to have that unit at Christmas time. And while I was a kid and it was a magical holiday, it was amazing that they were able to put that stuff aside and just come together for my brother and I. It's a pretty special thing in my opinion. Anyway, I'm not going to talk much more about that, but yes, I was really lucky to have parents that really didn't hate each other after the fact. So yeah, they split up. We had a house fire, which I caused, by the way. If you want to know that story, let me know and I'll tell that story in a different video. Nobody got hurt. The house got minimal damage. Well, actually, it was very damaged. Literally, my brother and I lost everything because our bedrooms were down there. So literally, had we been home, shortly after that, they got back together. I think having to go through the house together and trying to decipher what things were, because like when you have a house fire, things kind of melt. Like you don't know what things are. Like they're sitting in your living room your whole life, and then once it's like trashed in a fire, you're staring at it and you're like, what the F is that?
Hi guys, I came to tell you that the whole reason I said all this was to say that it must have rekindled their relationship. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Moving on. When I hit grade 4, things kind of took a turn for the worse. That was when I got the long hair. The minute that I did it, every guy in school shaved their heads. And I thought, fuck you, I'm keeping it. So I kept it. For years, I kept it. I didn't care. Like, looking back, I don't know how I didn't notice. I'm sure I did notice that all the, like, straight guys ended up shaving their head once I got the haircut. But, like, it just didn't faze me. It didn't bother me. I wonder why that is. I need to ask someone that knows about psychology. Ipsha Beach. Why is that? Why did I not care about anything like that as a kid? Why was I so unself-conscious? So, in grade 4, some people that I was really, really close with, actually, and still am to this day, one year they decided that I was gay, and this was when I entered grade 4. Came back. Like, it kind of goes and comes. Like, people kind of forget about it when you don't give it attention, and then when somebody starts bringing it up again, it just, like, sends people in a fucking tizzy. So, that's when things got really bad, grade 4. So, I was put into therapy, mandated therapy by the school. I took that therapy until I was in grade 6, and then we changed schools. The town I grew up in, grade school was grade 1 to 6, or grade primary to 6, sorry. Primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then high school, like it was all in one school. So grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 were all in high school. So it's just a high school. So I would say probably in like grade 6, I started to become self-conscious because I started to learn what these terms meant. They didn't really carry a lot of power when I was young because I really didn't know what they were talking about. And I guess I did have like a vague idea of what they were calling me, but I didn't. I was 8 or 9. Not a thing. Grade 6 is when it got really bad. The fight with Melissa and Lisa and them all ended very quickly. Like, I'm sure it was over by the end of September, but of course, grade school kids don't like let go of things like that, like you're forever with the gay kid. So I don't know why that's relevant. Shut up. When I moved on from grade 6 to grade 7, I was already in a weird headspace. I already was experiencing anxiety and depression, but I didn't really know what it was. Grade 6, the boys were really starting to understand what the word gay meant. If I was seen hanging out with girls, or if I was seen like making a feminine mannerism, or if I was seen talking to flamboyantly. If I was just existing, I would be called gay. It happened in class, it happened out of class, it happened in the schoolyard, it happened with me walking down the street, it happened everywhere. Like, I wasn't safe anywhere. So this is about the time that I became a super reclusive person. I spent a lot of my time alone. And then, of course, we went into grade 7. In my town, there were 2 elementary schools. So, I went to one, but there was this whole other group of kids that went to this other elementary school that I had never met or heard of. Going into grade 7 was terrifying because I already had this cohort of assholes making fun of me on the daily, and now they met a new cohort. of other straight guys. I keep putting quotations because I don't really think straight exists. I think it's a concept constructed by insecure men who aren't open enough to explore their sexuality. In grade 7, T teamed up with N. They became really, really fucking nasty. Like, it didn't matter what I did. I ended up doing some really bizarre things to try and prove myself otherwise. I was so focused on trying to prove that I wasn't that I never stopped to think, maybe I am. I was me. The labels didn't really bother me. Like, well, they did because they were using it against me. But why couldn't I just be Ken? Why couldn't I just be Ken who liked the funky hair and liked the feminine things, but also be a dude that likes to go play basketball? Like, why can't I be both? So they kind of ganged up on me, and some really ridiculously stupid thing triggered this army of people that literally would wait outside of school for me so that they could beat me up. Because it was never just N. It was N and T and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I was on my own. So it got to the point where in grade 7, about mid-year, I started skipping school. And so instead of taking gym, I would leave school every day because it just so happened that our gym classes ended it was like the last class of the day that year, I think. So I would leave school at lunch or like just after the bell rang so that there was nobody outside, and I would walk to the nursing home and I would spend my afternoon there, and that was my gym class. Luckily, Mr. Campbell was understanding enough that he allowed me to do that and still give me credit for the gym course. It was legitimately one of the most terrifying times of my life. Like, I had teachers driving me home. I would intentionally walk the opposite way home, like in the opposite direction of where my house was, so that I could like do a whole roundabout way to get home. Like, I was terrified to leave my house and leave school. I was terrified all the time. The auto response people give you is just beat them up. That's good advice for a lot of kids. Like, if my brother had been given that advice, he would have taken a fist and put it down someone's throat. But I wasn't that kid. I was this little feminine, like I didn't want to get hurt. Like, I knew I wasn't going to win, so I didn't want to get hurt. And maybe that makes me a pussy. That's fine. Like, I don't care. But because I ran, that brought on a new host of problems in itself. So in the midst of all this chaos, I started to rebel. Hey guys. Ooh, that was a weird sensation. It's a camera. So I was editing this video, and the recording was 2 hours long, and I really didn't think much of it because a lot of the time recordings are about long, but you're still able to edit it down. But because it's a story time, much of it wasn't really editable. Does that make sense? Without losing the integrity of the video, I ended up deciding to make it a series. So I kind of left it on a cliffhanger there. So this is my story up until grade 7, up until the point where I decide in my brain that I've had enough and I'm gonna start doing stupid shit. It's the only way to describe it. I started to do stupid fucking shit. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I don't hope that, I don't know how to phrase this. I hope that you take something from this video. I hope that you resonate in some way with it. I hope that it helps you get through something of your own. I hope that you relate to it in some way. There's more to come, and it does get worse, and so if this one isn't well received, I certainly won't put you through the rest of it. Please give it a thumbs up if you want. Please hit the subscribe button if you want. If you want to follow me, here's all my socials. I'm much more active on Twitch than I am on here. And Twitter as well. I'm much more active on Twitter. But you can find everything at kenneth.com, spelled the exact same way my YouTube name is spelled. That's it for this video. Please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you then. Bye!